Appreciation Day. Pastor Sister Tony!
Church anniversary. Not Pastor Appreciation Day.
Church anniversary.
I know you all appreciate me, but
Pastor and Sister Tony have to sit here.
Okay. For anniversary? Yep. Jesus have mercy. I don't like all this attention. I don't like it. I want to preach.
I saw your notes.
You saw my notes?
Yeah, it was. I didn't read them, but I saw
All right.
them. Yeah.
And now we are going to have a special presentation by Sister Monica.
Sister Monica? So you already was in on this, somebody? Oh, that's back when you signed up there. Wow. I don't know. Oh, Jesus.
Who is that?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Gotta pull it
Enjoy
down.
the memory lane pictures while Monica's reading.
Pull it down just a little bit.
See his face.
All right.
No, you gotta bring it in. Whoa.
Hold on.
Today we are celebrating our 35th church anniversary. Okay, can you pause it for a second? Thank you.
Oh, Jesus.
In the movie world, Harry met Sally, and in the real world, Zachary met Antoinette. After Pastor swept Sister Tony off her feet, they married and started a family. They were very happy until their unscrupulous landlord made it impossible for them to continue living in their apartment. Pastor Daring had a plan. He would not just look for another apartment, but he had found a house in one afternoon. After a couple of hours, he came to Sister Tony, as she would call it, the little shack on the prairie. It was pre-foreclosed property that had been severely damaged and vandalized, but it made it a real candidate for demolition. But both she and their little daughter, Monica, fell in love with it. Because we had other choices. Yeah. But me and Sister Tony picked this one. Little did they know, God gave them all the love for that house. Because it was the beginning of something wonderful. In February of 1985, God birthed the vision in the heart of our pastor to start a church when Pastor met a struggling single mom on his well jobs who needed encouragement. At the same time, Sister Tony had just given birth to Angelique. The announcement of starting a church caught Sister Tony completely by surprise because they had never talked about starting a church. So this had never been brought up in a conversation before, but as always, Sister Tony was very supportive. Their first service was held in the family room with Sister Tony donned in her bathrobe and 2-week-old Angelique in tow, along with myself. I was 11, Tiffany was 6 1/2, and Joshua was 4 years old. Eventually, Jesus is Lord Christian Fellowship grew to the point that it was necessary to rent a trailer on the grounds of Minor Gym Camp on 64th Street, which was right next door to Pastor's house, childhood home. It seemed perfect until the owner constantly burned huge trash heaps next to morning during church service. So God was telling Pastor that cloud has moved. And Pastor was undaunted. He returned services to the home he had been slowly renovated. With the furniture removed, worship services resumed in the family room. And Pastor's first podium wasn't this lovely. It was a large box TV, and the congregation sat on metal folding chairs. Sunday school was held in the bedrooms, and I remember that. And the Sunday school kids sat on the beds for chairs. Sister Tony recalls a recurring dream that the family would one Sunday oversleep and that the family would be awakened by church members knocking at the door. And I had those dreams as well. It was full-time ministry with the Waltons, or should I say, the Darrens, because we used the same building. People would arrive without appointments at all times of the day. And when I mean all times of the day, we had somebody come at 2 o'clock in the morning for marriage counseling because they had a fight. All times of the day and night for prayer or counseling. And God blessed the ministry to grow, just like the Deering family, which we now have 6 of us. Pastor continued to simultaneously work full-time in his water well plumbing business, which I remember several times. He was rushing in, and we were doing praise and worship, and he was all in mud, and running to get dressed, take a shower, and get ready to come downstairs and preach. And then on Sundays, he would go pick up the church members. So there was a member on the east side, west side.
Post Road.
Yes, and he would bring them in for service. And Sister Tony continued to handle the business customers along with homeschooling us children. The Lord continued to bless the ministry to accommodate the growth, and so Pastor decided to convert the 2.5-car garage into like a complete chapel. Finally, the little home that was totally dedicated to the Lord had given its all, and after 16 years, Pastor rented Komatsu track hoe to demolish it. He did it himself. And our new church edifice was born. During these 35 years, Jesus is Lord Christian Fellowship has ministered to hundreds of souls, both young and old, including many ethnicities: Jewish, Hispanic, Asian, Russian, Caribbean, Indian, African, and Pakistani. We have been privileged to see miracle upon miracle in every area of healing, deliverance, finances, depression, relationships, marriages, fertility issues, and more importantly, we have seen a lot of people who give their hearts to the Lord. Prophecies have been confirmed and souls uplifted. And our current edifice and our 5 acres are entirely debt-free and ready for the next move of God. Amen. Pastor and Sister Tony and the family has always loved the Lord and His people and are continuously inspired by God's vision. We believe this is just the beginning of even greater works of God. So stay tuned. Amen. Praise God for what He's done.
And now we're going to take some time to enjoy memory lane pictures of the beginning stages of the church and the church family.
Be kind.
One of the first pilots. Women pilots, black women pilots. Talk to the lady. Yes. Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that brought back a lot of memories. We've had a lot of great blessed memories from this property. That thank God for blessing my dad, my mom, and my dad to pick this property with God's help and see the vision that it would help many, many people pass away in our family. So I just thank God for all that He's done for us and all that He's done for us. Now we're going to have a song selection by For His Glory.
everyone. We want to thank God for this day, for 35 years in the church. And we know that if it wasn't for God's grace and His mercy, we wouldn't be here today as a church. So we're going to sing this song to His glory.
How did I get here all these years? How did I make it this far?
Yes.
Through the valley and over the hills. I know it had to be God.
Yes.
How did I make it through the storm? How did I make it through the rain? If you want to know just how I got here, it's so easy to explain. It was God's grace. God's grace. It was God's grace. God's grace. God's grace. God's grace. God's grace. God's grace. I made it this far. Made it this far. By the grace of God. God's grace. God's grace. God's grace.
Give her a hand. Wow.
Praise the Lord, everybody.
Praise the Lord. Love you, honey.
You know, it is an honor and a pleasure to be here till it's 35 years.
35 years, honey.
Even though I wasn't here doing all that time.
That's okay.
But the time that I have been here, it has really been a blessing.
Thank you, Jesus.
And
Thank you, Lord.
how do you say it in the book of Ezra? How the people came together and rebuilt the temple.
Yes.
And since the time that I've been here, I've noticed several things
Yes.
that their house needed. And I got with Sister Monica and we did a little thing. But anyway, make a long story short, Pastor,
Yes, we are.
I am very pleased in being up under your ministry, your teaching.
Love having you here,
You
sweetheart.
know, even though sometimes I've gotten a little, you know, but
We all do.
God always made a way
Yes, He
and
does.
helped me to see the
Yes,
difference.
sweetheart.
And you know, I often pay attention when you're teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say how the devil come and steal, and when the devil
Try to
get caught,
Yeah.
he have to give back. Well, that time have came,
All right.
but the devil didn't give back. Starting with this house. And I think about when you talk about going to the 5 acres
Yes,
and all that, it's good.
Yes.
But God is going to rebuild here.
Yeah.
Everything that the enemy thinks that he's taken,
Yes.
he's going to give back
He's gonna have to.
what he
That's
has.
right.
We're gonna have
You know, and during a week, I was talking to my daughter that lives in Virginia. And I told her, I said, well, Tracy, you know what? I said, I need a word of encouragement for the house.
to. Yes.
And she said, well, Mama, she said, what you talking about? I said, well, it's coming up to the church anniversary, and I wanted to do something very special for the church. Not only me, but for everyone that was in here and that participated within the little project that I had going on. God bless.
Yes.
We was able to get it back on time, and everything was paid.
Awesome.
And Pastor, we want you and First Lady to please stand. You know, during communion, we always have a communion sitting in his chair, or we sit on the little table, it's on the floor. When I saw it on the floor, I said, oh Lord, I said, no, we can't do this. I said, we can't do this. I said, no, this is sacred.
Amen.
So, I got with Sister Monica Cup. I wanted to see the church. I want to see the church grow. I want to see it thrive.
Yes.
So in order for God to bless us with go where we want to go, we got to take care of where we're at.
Right.
So if you would take that off. all got
Thank you,
together.
thank you. Thank you so much.
And we haven't finished yet, we're doing a little bit at a time. But what I wanted the church for is the members, the house, the body, to see this what happened when we all come together. And God wants us all to come together. He wants to do a great work. He wants to restore those things that the enemy think that he has taken.
That's right.
But God's gonna give them back double.
Yes, sir.
I might not be here to see it, but I know he's gonna do it.
You'll be here.
I know he's gonna do it. I love both of you.
Love you.
And life.
Thank you, church. Thank you so much. Wow, that is beautiful.
Wow, that is beautiful. Thank you, church, for making this happen today for the Jesus is Lord Christian Fellowship.
Wow.
Well, now we're going to turn it back over to Pastor.
Thank you, baby. Give Angelique your hand. This is the work. Wow. Man, 35 years.
God is good.
God is good. We're right here. Pastor gets to speak now. Isn't that a beautiful table? I've never seen one like that before. I've seen quite a few community tables. Yeah, I do this in remembrance. Never one in acrylic like that. It's beautiful. It goes with this.
Amen.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, there you go. Well, let me see how much time we have. Do we have time for a little piece of work? All right. A little piece? All right. Let me take this thing off. Got too warm in here for me. Y'all be breathing pretty hard at night. Oh, yeah. Well, we're really talking about faith today.
Yes.
We made it by grace, through faith.
Yes.
It is by grace that we're saved, by faith, and not that of works, lest any man should boast. And so, when I'm looking back over 35 years, actually, I've been in ministry for about 45 years, 35 years in pastoring, and I never knew that I would be a pastor when I was growing up. Never knew anything about being a preacher. But God has his own way of doing things. We have our plans, but God has plans for us. And so I'm so thankful that every step of the way in this ministry, we've had to walk by faith and not by sight. Because if we had to go by sight, we would have given up a long time ago. And so, if you can get anything out of what you've seen displayed here today, I want you to get this, that everything you have seen accomplished in this, we have ministered to thousands of people. Thousands. To God be the glory. Amen. I was going through the art, I think we still do. But when the church was over here in this little place that was converted into a chapel, people were coming in by the droves. They were coming in by the droves, and I had a box. We have several boxes about like this big, filled up of visitors' cards. And if you were to go through there and count all of those visitors' cards, it would number in the thousands. And God says, you did all of this by faith.
Yes.
By having faith in me. And I want you to know something. Look at somebody say the greatest blessing is yet to come. The greatest blessing. Everything we've done in this church has been by faith. Open those little blinds for me, somebody, and get a little light. By faith. We walk by faith and not by sight. You cannot go and live a Christian life, real Christian life, walking by your feelings. You cannot live a real Christian life walking by your emotions. Because a lot of times, you don't feel like nothing. You don't feel like sometimes God is even listening to you. You don't see any evidence of that. But I like that song that the choir got up here and sang, by God's grace. How did I make it? By God's grace. It wasn't because we deserved it. That's for sure. It's because of God's grace.
Yes.
And I'm so privileged that I have a spiritual father, a little white spiritual father who's about this tall, named Lester Summerall, who taught me the principles of faith in God.
Yes.
Principles of faith in God. And so let's go over to the book of Hebrews today. Any and everything you do in life from here on, you need to base it upon faith in God's word. You'll have a whole lot more accomplishments if you walk by faith. Your faith is as big as you want it to be. It's all according to your faith as to what God does for you. Some people say, well, God has never done nothing. You got to have faith in God.
Amen.
Can God still do miracles?
Yes.
Is God still doing miracles?
Yes.
Has anybody seen God do the miraculous in your own life?
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
And let's go to that book of Hebrews chapter 11. It's called the Hall of Faith. The Hall of Fame, the Hall of Faith. Let's see Brother Merrill here today with us. This is my nephew. Looking handsome as always. Chapter 11 of the book of Hebrews. I got some scriptures for you to write down, so y'all need to start reading your notepad so you can take these scriptures home and go back over them. So first of all, we'll start Hebrews chapter 11, verse number 1. So everybody read it with me. Say, let's stand up and read this one. If you got the King James Version, stand up. If not, just listen. Yeah, just listen, because we don't do the NIV here. We do the King James. They kind of miss out a lot on the NIV. Now, ready to read? Now faith is the substance of things what? And what?
The evidence of things not seen.
Read verse number 2.
Provided the elders obtain a good report.
Read verse number 3.
Through faith we understand that the world was framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear.
You may be seated. Thank you. What do you need? See, we have to understand that we got to take the limits off of God.
Yes.
We have a God who wants to bless us to have no limits.
Amen.
Because when you look at the God that we serve, who created the universe and all of the things that we see, he didn't have any limits.
No.
And that's why he told Abraham, look out in the sky and tell me if you can number the stars. Look out on the sea and tell me if you can count the grains of sand. Has anybody successfully counted the grains on one beach?
No. Too many.
Too many. And even our astronomers who look out these big telescopes and they look and see all the universe, all the stars out here, do you know every time they think they can count the last star, more stars show up?
That's right.
There are parts of the universe that we haven't even seen yet.
That's right.
And we're talking about serving a God who we serve by faith because we cannot see him.
Amen.
And they who worship God must worship him in what? Spirit and in truth. Do you see the wind? But you can feel it, can't you? We don't see the wind, but we see the results of the wind.
That's right.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. How are we going to build that church on that 5 acres? Did God do it before?
Yes.
Can God do it again?
Yes.
You want to clap your hands. Now, what we have to do is take the limits off of God.
Amen.
Somebody say, take the limits off of God. Somebody running around talking about, I'm a millionaire, I'm a billionaire. Ain't nobody never said they're a trillionaire yet. But I'm going to tell you what, I am beyond all of that.
Amen. Amen.
I am an unlimited heir.
Yes.
I am an heir and joint heir. I'm an heir of God
Yes.
and joint heir with Christ Jesus.
Yes.
I don't base everything on what's in my bank account.
Amen.
Because if I did, we wouldn't be too far.
Amen.
I don't bank and I don't base everything on how much I'm bringing in on my business when I was out there doing business for myself. God took a little bit
That's right.
and turned it into a lot.
That's right.
What other people see, you don't expect for other people to see what you see. When you're seeing through the eyes of faith, don't expect folks who don't understand faith to see what you're seeing.
That's right. Amen.
That's why you got to stay around the right group.
Amen.
People who know how to walk by faith and not by sight.
Yes. Yes.
People who know how to believe by faith and not by sight or fear.
Amen. Amen.
And so, God is a wonder.
Yes, He is.
A God who can speak things into existence
Yes.
from nothing.
Thank
Now, you might think that's crazy faith, but yeah, that's what I got. I got crazy faith.
Amen.
When my wife told me that our landlord was acting ugly and we're sitting up here in our little apartment over on 42nd Street and Boulevard, Butler, Carpenter area, I wasn't used to staying in an apartment, no way. Never stayed in an apartment. We grew up in a house. But she had an apartment, and that's where we started out. And I said, well, stay here until God opened up the door. I didn't have no business started and nothing else. When I married, I said, honey, I have a few requests. I wonder if you can come home. And you have the children. And I'll work and provide for the children and you. Can you do that? She said, yeah. She didn't see, you talk about a woman of faith? She had to be a great woman of faith because she didn't know anything about being in business. And particularly a young person that now just entered her life that want to take her out of the marketplace where she was successfully working in the insurance business. She said, well, if you just, and she was pregnant with Tiffany at that time. She said, if you just let me work long enough to get the insurance so we can have the medical coverage for Tiffany. I said, that's fine. See, I've had crazy faith all along.
Amen.
I can't hang around people that ain't got no faith.
Amen.
I said, I can't hang around people who got no faith. And I don't down them, but I can't let them take my faith down either.
Amen.
And so I said, when this man came back and said, we're sitting up in this apartment and it was like below zero outside. And he had those old steam heaters in that apartment. I don't know if any of y'all ever had steam heat.
Yes.
And they either smoke you out or freeze you out.
That's right.
And you have to, there's no way to control them.
No.
They dry your nose out. You got to put a pan of water on top of it. Some of y'all know nothing I'm talking about. And this man, I don't know, he was a bondsman, bail bondsman. And so he made pretty good money. And he had bought some properties. And he wanted to act like he was going to become a slumlord. So I said, sir, can we get some heat in here? He said, what do you think this is, the Hilton? I'm looking in the apartment and we're seeing our breath. And I got my wife and my baby, Monica, in there, and the baby to come, Tiffany. And I said, what's this guy is crazy. Is this a Hilton? And I was pretty mad at that point. I wasn't as safe as I am now. I was a little bit more built than I am now. And I said, well, I don't know, I'm going to have to tell this brother to do something. You got to treat me and my wife right. So, you know, God helped me to temper myself, and I came on back and said, honey, that's okay. I'm going to go find us a house. I said, I'll be back. I jumped in my little 68 Chevelle Super Sport, That's what I was using for my trucking business too. I know nobody was used to seeing a super sport pull up to the job for plumbing. I pull up there with my big souped up 6'8" Chevelle Super Sport. You can hear me coming a mile away. Pulled my toolbox out the back, run up there. They didn't care what I was driving, as long as I get the water back on. They didn't care what color it was. I said, we got to have water.
That's right.
And I had plenty of customers of all different backgrounds. All different backgrounds. And your work speaks for itself. But anyway, I said, honey, I'm going to go find a house. Came back and said, I found a house! Jump on, come on, get in here. Monica, come on, Lonnie. Come on, honey, let's go see this house. We drove up here, and we looked at this place, and we were seeing a palace. What everybody else would come over here and see was like a little house on the prairie without the house. And I said, this is perfect for us. I said, come on, you couldn't get in because it was all fenced up. So I picked Sister Tony up and put her over the fence. Brought her over the fence. We came in and we had to be careful because if you walk too far, you might disappear. We're just seeing daylight coming through the sky. Walls knocked out.
We had Tiffany at the time.
And Tiffany was there too. She's a baby girl. And so, right away, God started training me, son, you don't walk by sight.
That's right.
You've got to start learning how to walk by faith.
Amen.
You cannot walk by sight. You can't even go by your past. I grew up in a palace for sure. About 8-bedroom house, 3 family rooms, 3 basements, and you got a mansion that we grew up in. 5 acres, horses and all that.
8 acres.
8 acres. And then I get dropped down to this. Everything. He had everything we needed. And my daddy was a plumber. And so he had plenty of money coming in. And I had watched him do things. It's good to have a father in the house.
Amen.
If you have a father in the house that can show the sons how to do things, that's what's going on in our generations today.
Amen.
There's fatherless homes right now.
That's right.
But I watched my father struggle. I watched him do things that I didn't know was almost impossible for a man to do. And I watched my mom do the same thing. I watched him go build that house. He didn't buy that house. He went and built that house. The house that we bought, that was originally, was about the size of this building right here. Maybe a little bit smaller.
You mean the little one on there?
Yeah.
It was way smaller, Pastor.
Oh, okay.
You could stick
And
it
back in those days,
You could stick it in one of these corners.
back in those days, people from Georgia had big families.
Yes, they did.
It was no big deal for you to have 9 children. There were 9 of us. And well, it was, at that time, it was all the way up till me and you. I got a picture of us.
It was up Al.
Al was here, because Mom was holding Al.
Yeah.
So we had Al, Hal, and Maria to come. But all the rest of us
Al came on 33rd Street.
on 33rd,
Yeah, then Al and Maria.
over here.
Yeah.
So we all was living in that little tiny home.
Because me, you, and Al had to share a bedroom.
Yeah.
The older kids was in the basement.
Yeah, they lived in the basement.
Because it was really only a 2-bedroom house.
Yeah. So do you think our father had to have some faith?
Oh, yeah.
So he's got all this land, he's in this little cracker box, and he looks out and he sees a mansion.
Mom dreamed the house.
She dreamed the house.
The Lord showed her the house in a dream. She drew it out. He went downtown and got blueprints for it and built it.
See, that's the background I come from. So you can't expect me to start thinking small. I believe that God can do anything. I said, I believe God can do anything. And I'm going to tell you this, that 5 acres is already done.
Yes, it is.
The church that we're going to put over there is going to house 1,000 people.
Yes.
And it's already paid for
Yes.
by faith.
Yes.
We're not going to go over there struggling in no debt.
No.
God's going to give us the resources that we need to get it done.
Yes.
I think that whatever we need, God has it.
Amen.
I said, whatever we need, God has it. Now faith is the substance, and I'm going to quit here because it's time to go home. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for
Yes.
and the evidence of things not seen.
Yes.
Now sometimes you've got to get a picture in your mind of what it is that you need.
Amen.
When Sister Joanne and them got this table, she had the picture in her mind what it was that she was wanting to bring here. And so she formulated that in her mind.
Yes.
Then she went and she shared her vision with everybody.
Yes.
Then you all put yourselves together
Yes.
and got the resources to go purchase this table.
Yes.
Amen.
And so this came out in the spirit realm.
Yes.
Everything we have materialized in the spirit realm first.
Yes.
The chairs that we're sitting on,
Yes.
material was in the spirit realm first.
Amen.
How do you get things out of the spirit realm? You got to learn how to walk by faith.
Yes.
It's not magic, it's faith.
Amen.
And don't tell me it don't work because I've seen too many years of it work.
Amen.
You can get something when everybody else can't get nothing. I said, you can get something when everybody else can't get nothing. Don't tell me that it depends on what the economy is doing. Matter of fact, we did better when the economy was down when the economy was up.
Amen.
So don't go by what's going on in the government. Heaven doors are not locked.
Amen.
Praise God.
Heaven's windows are open.
Yes.
God has what we need.
Yes, it does.
But it's according to your faith,
Yes.
so be it unto you.
Yes.
If you think small, you get small. If you think God's a big enough God, he'll do just what you think.
That's right.
And even more. The Bible says he can do exceedingly,
Yes.
abundantly, above what? All that we ask or think according to the power of God that does what? Worketh in us. Cancer is no match for God. Tumors are no match for God.
No.
Arthritis is no match for God. Diabetes is no match for God. So you always categorize in money. But we ain't talking about money. We're talking about faith for anything you need.
Amen.
Whatever you need, you got to start learning how to speak it with your mouth.
Yes. Yes.
I said you got to start learning how to speak with your mouth.
Yes.
You get what you say.
Amen.
If you ain't saying nothing, don't expect nothing to happen.
All right.
And when you say it, make sure you believe it in your heart.
Amen.
Because if you say it out of your mouth and you don't believe it in your heart, you will not see the manifestation.
That's right.
Thank you, Lord.
All things are possible to those that believe. How many believers do I have here today?
Amen.
I ain't talking about nobody walking around here with no itty-bitty faith.
Amen.
Don't look at us and judge us by what you see. You can't look at a mustard seed and judge how big the tree's going to be. Jesus said if you got faith the size of a mustard seed,
Amen.
you can speak to the mountain and the mountain will be moved. Now I'll tell you, a mustard seed is one of the small seeds of the seed kingdom.
Amen.
And if you look at it and say, with your expectation, I don't think much is going to come out of that. That's because you're looking at it by sight.
All right.
But when you see in the spirit realm what God can bring out of the mustard seed, it is a tree that is so large that the fowls of the air come and lodge in its branches.
Yes.
It's one of the biggest trees.
Yes.
And so, you've got to have not yesterday's faith, not last year's faith.
All right.
You got to have right now faith.
Yes. Yes.
Now what God will do sometimes is God will give us a challenge.
Yes, He will.
He'll give you a challenge to see where your faith is.
That's right.
He'll say, look, I'm going to give you a challenge to see just where your faith is at. Can you believe me? I'm going to ask for you to believe me for this. Can you believe me? Can you trust me? See, the deal about folks is they got the reliance on themselves instead of God. And when your reliance is on yourself instead of God, then that's why your faith is hindered. You got to have unhindered faith.
Yes.
That when you speak it, you can start visualizing it. It is not mind over matter. It's faith over mind.
Yes. Yes.
This is not metaphysics.
Thank you, Lord.
This is the real deal. Faith.
Yes.
God spoke things into existence.
Amen.
The Bible says that you have what you say.
Yes.
The power of life and death is where?
In the tongue.
And they who love it shall eat the fruit thereof. I'm going to start, I stopped speaking because I started walking by sight for, I ain't gonna lie, I started walking by sight for a minute. The devil was attacking and attacking and attacking and attacking and attacking, and he attacks so he can get to your faith.
All right.
And what you got to understand is this is the tactics of the devil. Tactics of the devil is to attack you so that he can kill your faith.
All right.
He can get you to get quiet.
Uh-huh.
You can sit there and stop talking about what God said and just get real quiet and really real silent. When you see a silent Christian, you're looking at a defeated Christian. Because the Bible says, let the redeemed
Of the Lord.
of the Lord say so. Whom the Lord has redeemed out of the hand of the enemy. Get out of that quiet zone and start making some noise.
Amen.
Start making some noise. Start making some noise in the spirit realm. Start making war in the spirit realm.
Amen.
Start telling the devil where he's got to get off in the name of Jesus.
That's right.
Tell him what he's got to get back. You know what he's stolen.
All right. All right.
Start commanding your blessings to come back to you.
Yes.
This ain't no blabbing and gabbing.
No.
This is the word of God.
Yes.
Which Paul said, this is the word of faith
Yes.
which we preach.
Yes.
It can stop the mouth of lions.
Yes.
It can take the flame out of the fire.
Thank you, Lord.
Come on now.
Thank you, Lord.
Through faith. And we're now looking unto Jesus,
Who is the Lord?
who's the author and finisher of our faith.
Yes.
One thing before I finish, Mother King needs to see us because she hasn't been eating. We need to get down there and show her as much love as we can
Yes.
because she's been made it through the surgery and the devil's messing with her. And so I'm going there as soon as we get out of church to see Mother King. And if you all can go see her, flood her with your love. Show her that you care about her. She's one of the giants of this church.
Yes.
She's one of the giants. God bless you, church. We have an altar call now. If you don't know Jesus, you're really denying yourself the best thing that you could ever have if you don't know Jesus. I want to extend an invitation to anyone today that is here underneath the sound of my voice that